Keontae Strozier leads his offense back out onto the field. 6:12 left to go in the first half. Cedar Shoals on top 16-0. Strozier feeds his back, but a big loss on the play. It looked like he ran into his own guy, left guard Marquise Bentley. And Carver, not what you want on first down.
Yeah, and obviously this Carver team coming out with Jaquavius Marks not on the field, number 4 over there, still getting that left knee worked on. So look for Marks to hopefully come back in the game. If you're Carver, that's what you got to have. You got to have that leading rusher, and so they're going to do everything in their power to try to get him good to go to get back on the field.
Sophomore Jarvis Brown, the current running back. Strozier looking to pass, heaves it deep, and it is over his guy and almost intercepted again. He was looking for Buchanan, but Jamal Canty for Cedar Shoals in coverage nearly had what could have been a hypothetical third interception of the game. Whatever way you say it, Cedar Shoals is all over those guys.
Yeah, and that time, Keontae Strozier just kind of bent his back and threw it as far as he could down the left sideline, trying to throw the fade route to DeAndre Buchanan, the guy that he's gone to over and over again tonight, whether it's been successful or not. And a good job by number 1, Jamal Canty, the senior, getting over there. But, that was an open field play. Not really many excuses to miss that kind of ball.
High snap, Strozier recovers on 3rd and 14, just trying to spin away from trouble and can't do it. Dropped for a loss behind the line of scrimmage. Jalen Jackson, the senior, in on the action for Cedar Shoals to make it 4th and way long for Carver. And now it'll be Shagiris Kennedy on to punt for the 4th time tonight. Kennedy on to punt. And, Luke, we mentioned the tents that are in the stands for Cedar Shoals, but the coaching staffs have their own tents down on the sideline to check out the last possession on replay, see the X's and O's and where their guys are going wrong. Laney Tagliaferri down on the field right now joining us. And, Laney, you were just over by the Carver tent. Those guys are not very happy about what's happening.
No, they are not. In fact, both teams have instant replay abilities. They are using a technology called Sports Score owned by Huddle. And it's allowing them to have instant replay right after both sides of the ball, offense, defense, run off. They run over to a tent where a TV set up. They have iPads where they can zoom in on the plays. And both teams' coaches are getting very frustrated as they come off. Every player is listening to what their coaches have to say extremely intently, trying to make those adjustments that they need to make to improve upon their next drives.
All right, thank you, Laney. Carver definitely with a big group around its tent right now. We'll have to see what the X's and O's are telling them and if they make any adjustments the next time out on offense. For now, though, it's the defense's turn. Cedar Shoals, after the punt, takes over on its own 38-yard line on top 16-0. 4:30 left in the half. Rusher on the read option keeps it and high steps ahead, up the middle. Near midfield again. Brought down to the 49-yard line.
Man, they didn't have that kind of stuff when I was in high school. I don't know about you, but, coaches had to remember the plays and write it down on notebook paper, man.
You did not just drop the when I was in high school line.
That was like 4.5 years ago
now. 22.
That's been way back. 23.
Old guy.
Don't bring my age up on air, man. Come on.
So we'll see what it's telling him. What are you looking at down there? We were down there before the game, and it looks like a video game setup at first. I was a little confused as to what was going on, and then we finally got Laney got the scoop. She's down there working hard. As Rusher finds Williams over the middle for the first down pickup to move the ball into enemy territory across the 45 down to the 44. And the air attack is working for Cedar Shoals. I'm a little surprised by it. They're going to it, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and another big pickup there by Jaden Williams, the senior. He's had a couple of those tonight, and right now their offense is looking about 60-40 run pass, and so far it's working. We can't credit Leroy Riles enough for what the offense has come in and been able to do so far against this Carver defense. They just look like they're kind of caught off guard.
Jags to the Panther 42. Colbert bounces off some would-be tacklers at the line. And then is spun down after a loss of 3 or 4 yards. So Jardavian Colbert had the 16-yard touchdown run to open up the scoring. And now it seems like he's going back more than he's going forward.
Yeah, and he had the 16-yard carry. And then down on the other field at the start of the second quarter, he had a 12-yard carry. But I think the thing is on first down, that's kind of where they expect the run play from Colbert to come. So I think that's where you kind of have to worry about mixing up the offenses on first down. But, Leroy Riles has done as much as possible so far to do that in the game.
2nd and 12. Jags try to run up the middle again. Back towards the original line to gain as everybody climbs off of the pile. Clock under 2.5 minutes now left to go. Carver will get the ball to start the second half. So the Panthers staring down the barrel of a 16-0 deficit right now. But if they can score when the second half starts, they'll make this a manageable game.
Yeah, and a big third down opportunity for Cedar Shoals here, because if you get the first down, you're obviously deeper into Carver's territory, and then you have a chance to go up 24-0 and kind of put Carver away here early.
3rd and 10, and Rusher keeps it, spins past a couple of guys, and moves the sticks for the Jaguars. Jalen Rusher, the senior quarterback, getting it done for his team, and the drive lives on for Cedar Shoals.
Nice run there by Rusher. Got to the end and put a little spin move on it, hit the B button, got a defender off of him, and now the clock ticks down below 1:45, so the clock kind of starts to come into play. Cedar Shoals with just one timeout left, and obviously they're trying to run it and pass it a little bit, so something that the offense is going to have to keep an eye on is the clock here late.
Fullback Allen in the game, paves the way for his running back Colbert, who meets some contact after a pickup of 5, moves the ball to the 20. Clock continues to run inside 1:20 left to go for Cedar Shoals. Near field goal range, we saw Will Fang convert from 31 yards earlier. This one will be a little bit longer, around 37 yards right now for the junior, but by no means is that out of the question.
Yeah, and I don't think Leroy Riles is scared to send Will Fang out there at junior with some experience. So I think they're okay with doing that, but obviously you want to try to get 6 points if you can.
Rusher to Colbert again. He's got some space and then is met by the linebacking crew. Moves the pile ahead and drives it to just about the 15-yard line. We'll see where they officially mark him. It will be 3rd and short, and Cedar Shoals elects. Now there's an injured player down on the field. 39 seconds left to go in the first half, and Patrick Murray along with Anna Smith out there to work on the injured Jag.
Yeah, and couldn't quite see the number of the guy that went down. Couldn't tell who it was. Looks like it might have been Colbert on the play that went down, the running back, who they're obviously leaning on a lot tonight. But for both teams, they're going to try to take advantage of the little extra time while the trainers work on Colbert. But this is a big story. I mean, the starting 2 running backs, the 2 big guys that the offense has leaned on, both getting injured here in the second quarter of this game. And, if you look down on the sideline, they've got Jaquavius Marks still kind of limping around, stretching his knee. I saw him jogging up and down the sideline, trying to see how it feels. But both running backs going down is huge, and they've got Colbert up, kind of limping over to the sideline with a little help.
So Colbert helped off to the side. 3rd and short for Cedar Shoals with 39 seconds left to go in the first half. The winner of this game facing the winner of South Effingham and Jones County. Jones County was leading 14-6 in the first quarter, has extended its lead to 20-6 in the second quarter. And so the winners of those 2 games will have a date next Friday night to try and keep their postseason run going. 3rd down and 2. Rusher under center for Cedar Shoals. The clock under 30 seconds now. And Rusher not really in a hurry at the line. Now he gets the snap off, looks to pass, airs it out into the end zone for Willingham, and it is not hauled in. Willingham had it, and he could not bring it in. He had the touchdown, but Carver able to exhale, and now we'll see what Cedar Shoals elects to do on 4th down.
Well, to start the play, the clock started again after the injury, and the clock was around 35 seconds, and now you've wasted 20 seconds. It's down to 14. They took a long time, tried to go on the hard count to get him to jump on 3rd and short, and then threw the back shoulder corner route to Willingham, and Willingham had it in his arms. He just wasn't able to reel it in, so they'll bring out the kicker, Will Fang, and see if they can't convert 3 more points here at the end of the second quarter.
Fang connected from 31 earlier, this one from 32, and it is no good. And so Fang not able to knock it through. Score remains 16-0. Cedar Shoals leading, not able to extend its lead. 8 seconds left to go in the first half. Luke, that's 2 drop passes tonight, one by Williams, the other by Willingham. 2 senior guys you rely on if you're Cedar Shoals.
Yeah, and we talked about veteran leadership before the game, and, you know, we talked about it with coaches, and they said, hey, we're going to lean on our veteran guys, especially in a big game like this. And, you know, obviously you don't want to see guys like that making a mistake, but, you know, an empty possession for Cedar Shoals where they don't put points on the board when they have the opportunity. They did take 4.5 minutes off the clock, though, that Carver didn't have the ball. So, you know, your Cedar Shoals, obviously you're not happy that you're leaving the field without points, but you have to, you know, if you have to bring a positive out, then you know that you've wasted 4.5 minutes that Carver hasn't been on the field.
So Carver out in maybe not a victory formation, but going to kneel it down and just take this one to halftime. Strozier takes a knee, and the final few seconds tick off of the clock. Both teams head to the locker rooms. We are halfway through. Cedar Shoals leads Carver 16-0 at the end of the first half. Luke, we have touched on how Cedar Shoals has been airing it out a little bit so far tonight, but for you, what surprised you the most? What stuck out the most about that first 24 minutes of football?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just surprised at how well Cedar has dominated the game so far. I mean, obviously, a huge play was the turnover in special teams, and they've almost had 3 interception opportunities. So, you know, when you and I were talking about keys to the game beforehand, you know, just between ourselves, I said, hey, man, with this rain and everything, I think turnovers are going to play a factor at some point, and thus far they have. Obviously, the punt off the back of Carver's own guy didn't help and turned into 6 points for the Jags. And so I think it's really just been overall how well they've dominated the game. They've done well with time of possession, and then most importantly, stop the run. The 3 words that we said were most important, and they've been able to do that. And now with Jaquavius Marks out of the game, that's another huge table that has kind of turned for Cedar Shoals and this Carver team.
Laney Tagliaferri just talked with Coach Riles down on the field, and we'll have that up on @ByGrady Sports on Instagram pretty soon to see what he had to say. I imagine probably a pretty happy man. We talked to him before the game. He was in a good mood, excited, glad his guys were here, got his salad from Golden Corral, and he was ready to play football.
Yeah, I asked him how the salad was. He said he would tell me in about an hour and a half what it tasted like. So maybe a little bit better taste in his mouth here at the half, going into the half with the lead. But, I mean, you got to be impressed with what your guys have been able to do. Number 7, Jalen Jackson, you know, I talked about before the game, I said, hey, Jalen Jackson, he's a senior, he's a leader, he's a captain. He's got to step up. He came up with the touchdown on the botched punt, and then another big play in the backfield over there. And then when we talked to Coach Miles before the game, he said, hey, I got my eyes on number 66, Jaheim Wilson, another senior that kind of plays the nose guard position for Cedar Shoals. And Wilson's kind of blown up the backfield a couple of times and won at the point of the attack. And I think that's really what's important is winning at the line of scrimmage. And right now, Cedar Shoals is just dominating the line of scrimmage.
Biggest thing Carver has to change for the second half is what?
They have to be able to throw the ball or convert throws. I mean, they've thrown the ball more than what they usually do and more than what they want to. But if you're going to throw the ball, you have to convert, something they didn't do very well in the first half.
All right, we have reached intermission halfway there. Cedar Shoals on top 16-0 here at Grady Stadium in Midtown Atlanta. Opening round of the Class 5A playoffs, and we will have the rest of the action coming up in just under 20 minutes. For Luke Gamble, Laney Tagliaferri, Mike Patel saying so long for now. When we return, Shreyas Lana hops into the booth to help take us through the second half. We'll talk to you in a moment, everybody.